World War II Military Deaths. In Nemaha's fields, brave hearts took flight to fight for freedom through darkest night. Their stories told in verse and rhyme, a tribute to heroes lost in time. Dorothy Swart Tatum. In the halls of Mitchell Field she lay, illness claimed her in a slow, quiet way. Serving strong on the 8th Air Force staff, her spirit lives in each whispered laugh. Private Adrian Retley. A cave's dark embrace at Camp Carson's side took Adrian from his family's pride. In service to others he gave his all, died in the line where duty would call. Staff Sergeant Francis Cocaine. In the sky a flight took a tragic turn, near Chicago where engines did burn. Francis met fate in a fall from grace. His legacy now holds a cherished place. Sergeant Virgil F. Brown. A bombing mission to Brunswick he flew, but never returned from the skies so blue. The fight for freedom, his final breath, he gave his life an honorable death. Lieutenant Ernest Swartz. Far in China his plane faltered low, forced to abandon with no time to go. Ernest met the earth in a sudden fall, brave in the fight, answering freedom's call. Private Paul Boating. Belgian roads took Paul's last ride, a truck crash where destinies collide. In service he walked, in service he fell, now stories of him forever we tell. George Guilford. Across the Pacific's vast unknown, a cadet gave all, his name now sown. George's course met the sea's deep wave, a hero gone but forever brave. Private William Guilford. In Aiken's fields where battles rang, William fell as freedom sang. In infantry's fold he bravely stood, and war's fierce hand he gave all he could. Sergeant Roy Fund. At Normandy's edge Roy fought the fight to bring the dawn from the darkest night. With comrades he took that final step, leaving a legacy we must not forget. Private Joseph Enneking. In Europe's heart he made his stand, a brave young soul in a foreign land. The battlefield claimed him far from home, but in our hearts he'll forever roam. Sergeant Frank Schaefer. In southern France his fate was sealed, with courage bright his sword was steeled. Frank's memory stands where he did fall, a silent hero loved by all. Staff Sergeant Lawrence Wintersheet. New Britain Island bore witness to the day when Lawrence passed in a fiery fray. A B-29 radio man, he soared so high, now rests beneath a peaceful sky. Staff Sergeant Elgin Strong. In the Pacific's depths he met his end, a soldier strong, a nation's friend. Elgin's life was lost so far away, but his spirit remains with us today. Private Bernard Shulyans. Near Bastone's woods he took his stand, a faithful son to this proud land. Bernard fought and fell with grace, forever remembered, forever in place. Corporal Cyril Nolte. In France he fought with courage true. Cyril's life was cut too soon, too few. On foreign soil he met his end, a life well lived, a nation's friend. Private George Weeks. In France, where freedom's price was paid, George fell beneath the war's cruel blade. His life a sacrifice to win the fight, a star now shining in the night. Staff Sergeant Louis L. Barrett. In the sky he soared so high, until August claimed the final sky. In action Louis gave his all, an everlasting echo of duty's call. Jonas Smith. In the Belgian bulge a battle roared, where Jonas fell his heart outpoured. A technician's skill, a warrior's might, lost to us in that winter fight. Joseph boating. In the depths near Okinawa's shore, Joseph was lost, seen no more. A submariner bold, his watch now done, resting where the tides have won. Staff Sergeant Earl Meyer. At the river Severs, Earl took the lead, with courage bright in France's need. A staff sergeant's charge, so brave, so strong, in freedom's song his name belongs. Staff Sergeant Moses Tate. In frosty skies where fire reigned, Moses was lost, but freedom gained. A bomber's path, a hero's flight, now resting in eternal light. Staff Sergeant Bernard Becker. In Europe's fields his plane went down. Hope flickered, but could not be found. Bernard's fate was cast, yet still he flies in memory's skies where heroes rise. Lieutenant Haley Skinner. Upon the seas his ship set sail, until the winds of fate did wail. Haley was lost, yet never gone, for his spirit marches on. Raymond Woltkamp. In Italy's skies he made his stand, but Raymond fell to enemy hands. A flight officer with valor true, in skies of blue we remember you. George Beery. On Lipscomb Bay, the waters deep, George met his end where shadows creep. A fire controlman, brave and bright, now guiding us through darkest night. Eldon Welliver. Over China's mountains high, Eldon's plane fell from the sky, a crash that took his life away, but his spirit's light will never sway. Major Arlie Higgins. In the South China Sea where waters swell, a prisoner's fate, a war-torn hell. Arlie's life was lost at sea, but his soul sails on, wild and free. Captain Raymond Roque. In France where battles fiercely raged, Raymond's courage was fully engaged. A captain's heart, a leader's soul, his story forever makes us whole. Private John Daly. In Germany's heart where battles roar, John fought and fell forevermore. A private's duty, a soldier's fight, now resting in eternal light. George Kohaki. On the Pacific waves, George stood strong, but fate cut short his hero's song. A seaman lost in battle's din, yet his legacy will never dim. Private Francis Long. On Lubang Island's distant shore, Francis fought and gave much more. A private's stand, a warrior's pride, and honor's glow forever tied. Harry Beery. At Midway's peak where fire did fall, Harry answered his nation's call. A chief fireman bold and bright, now a beacon in the darkest night. Sergeant Carroll Eugene Domer. From Australia's land he disappeared, a sergeant lost to hearts endeared. Carroll's fate forever a mystery, but his name lives on in history. Lieutenant George Springer. In Germany's skies George flew with pride, until the day his courage died. A lieutenant brave, a life cut short, but his spirit holds an honored court. Staff Sergeant Richard Bendel. Over France he flew so high, a turret gunner in the sky, missing now but never gone, in memory's arms he carries on. Sergeant George Moore. On Delm Ridge, where battles cried, George Moore fought and bravely died. A sergeant strong, a soldier true, his sacrifice was made for you. Donald Kenneth Hall. Upon the Corvina, Donald sailed, until the enemy's attack prevailed. A sailor lost to the ocean deep, but his memory we forever keep. Ralph Allen. In western Germany, Ralph stood tall. The war's cruel hand made him fall. A technician's skill, a soldier's might, now resting in the quiet night. Lieutenant George Young. At Camp Davis he met his fate. A sudden blow sealed his state. A lieutenant's heart forever still, but in our hearts he's with us still. Private Galen Kallenberger. In Germany's fields Galen fought the fight, but April's day claimed his light. A private first class, his service true, his sacrifice is honored by all who knew. Lieutenant Leroy Armstrong. In the Pacific, under night's dark sky, Leroy vanished, left to fly. No trace remained of his final flight, but his memory shines ever bright. Staff Sergeant Henry Heaney. In Normandy's fight, Henry gave his best. Wounded in battle, he found his rest. A staff sergeant's courage, steadfast and true. In Normandy's fields, we remember you. Lieutenant Robert Shaw. Over Germany's skies his mission flew, but Robert vanished in the blue. A lieutenant lost to the air's great sea, now his name is whispered forever free. 43 souls from Nemaha's land gave their lives with a steadfast hand. In war's cruel grip they met their fate, but in our hearts their legacy is great.